Good evening, everyone, once again. I hope you can hear me. Thank you for joining the FMN Agro live session. This is the first live session that we're having, and we hope to, have subsequent ones that, are also very engaging and enlightening. Our first session, which, we're having today, is on poultry nutrition. Pardon my manners. Let me introduce myself first. Speaking with you is Ola Shubomi Odunuga. I'm the brand marketing and programs manager of the Agro-Allied division at Flour Mills, at FMN, Flour Mills of Nigeria, PLC. And Top Feeds is one of the subsidiaries under the group. So today, based on feedback we've gotten even on digital media and through engaging with our fans and everyone, we saw that there's a need to actually have a session on poultry nutrition, because there's been a lot of questions around poultry. There's been a lot of engagement around poultry nutrition. And today what we'll be touching on within this 1 hour that we have is understanding the poultry feed types and best production practices for optimal growth. And because there's this norm that people have that poultry, they're birds anyway, so you can feed them anything, so far it's maybe maize or soybean grounded, you can just feed them. That's not true. So today we're going to be looking at what is required, why each type of birds have different feed requirements depending on the purpose of breeding them, as well as the different stages of their life. And here with us we have two gurus, two experts in the animal feed business. Here with us we have Austin Daliop, who is the general manager sales and marketing at Premier Feed Mills. And also with us we have Dr. Sunday Adegbaju, who is the nutritionist at Premier Feed Mills. He is an animal nutritionist. So I'll briefly read their profiles, and then we'll take it from there. So we'll try and make this as engaging as possible. I like the fact that the chat section is, beaming with so many messages. Would like to have this as engaging as possible. Please send your questions at every point in time, and would ensure to try as much as possible to answer those that we can. And for questions that we cannot answer, we will definitely collate them and answer them on our digital media platforms. If you're not following us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, please do so now at the FMN Agro on all platforms. That's where you can get all the necessary information that you can get from our handles. So Austin has about 3 decades working experience in the animal nutrition industry in Nigeria, with a major part in senior management level, with focus on sales, marketing, HR, and risk management. He joined FMN Group in 2014 as the general manager, sales and marketing. And that's a position he currently still occupies there at Premier Feed Mills. He is a graduate of law and MBA marketing from the University of Jos, and a fellow of the National Institute of Marketing of Nigeria, and many other professional bodies. Mr. Austin is a very busy man. I'm happy he's able to join us here today, and would be delighted to hear from your wealth of knowledge. Dr. Sunday is an experienced animal scientist and farm management consultant with over 20 years experience working in the livestock industry. In his role as the nutritionist at Premier Feed Mills, he oversees the designing of new products and improvement of current ones. He is also involved in R&D with a view to preferring solutions to the needs of farms and animals. Dr. Adegbaju is a doctor of philosophy of science in animal science from Obafemi Awolowo University, and he's also a graduate of animal science from the Federal University of Agriculture at Abeokuta. He is also a member of Animal Science of Nigeria and Nigerian Institute of Animal Science, respectively. Thank you so much, Dr. Sunday Adegbaju, for taking time out of your very busy schedule to be here with us. I'm sure everyone here is delighted to hear from you, and we look forward to getting some, key insights into ensuring that we're able to, feed our birds right and understand the best production practices. So I'll leave you in the capable hands of Mr. Austin now.
Sorry, thank you, Shobemi, for that brief introduction. And I'd like to welcome all our guests and participants at this event. It's the first time we're going to be having this kind of showcase our brand called Top Feed. And I'd like to take us through the history of Top Feed. Top Feed is a brand of feed, the first indigenous brand in Nigeria. It came to birth in 1968 in faraway Delta State, Sapele, and they started with a small feed plant of about 5 tons per hour production. And thereafter, by the year 1983, the company was able to upgrade or scale that plant to 15 tons per hour. And then going forward, Flour Mills of Nigeria, which is a well-known brand in the country, they've been in the landscape of food production and processes in Nigeria, decided to acquire the brand Top Feed in the year 2008 to expand this brand. And they created a company called Premier Feed Mills Company Limited, which is now the sole owner of the brand Top Feed. By the year 2010, Premier Feed completed 2 big plants, one in Calabar, one in Ibadan with 40,000 tons per hour plant, and another one in Ibadan and in Calabar, Cross River State, with the same capacity of 40 tons per hour. With these 2 plants in the south, they were able to cover the entire market for demand for feed in the south. And PFM also commissioned 2 additional plants for Aqua, that is the fish feed plants, one in Calabar and one in Ibadan. The Ibadan plant is a 5 ton per hour plant, and the one in Calabar is 10 tons per hour plant. Both plants, again, is to cover the needs of our fish farmers around the south, and then support the other markets in the north. The company commissioned, with these 2 plants and the other 3 plants that we had, were able to cover sufficient ground for all the product needs at that time. And I would like to also take us through some of the product mix that we have in terms of the SKU that Premier Feed has in the offering. I will start with the poultry, with the layer rations. In the layer ration category, there are 3 basic feeds, which is the chick mash, the grower, and then we have the layer. In sometimes we advise farmers to take a 4-level feeding program, which is chick, grower, layer, and then we advise them to start maybe with the pre-layer. But in the chick category, you use the chick for week 1 to week 6. The birds at that day old will take a minimum between 10 to 15 grams of feed, and it will consume the chick mash. And then from week 16, it can start taking the grower from week 7 to week 15. It will take the grower mash, and the grower mash, it will now go to the layer mash. But like I said, it can start with the pre-layer, which is usually for 2 weeks at week 18 to week 20. And then it starts taking the layer feed. And at that point, you expect that the birds will start laying. Then we go to the broiler category. On the broiler feeds, there are 2 types of feed that we provide, the mash and the pellets, or called the crumbs. The The Superstarter is what the farmer will start the day-old chicks with. The Superstarter is expected to give the birds some early gains because it is highly nutritious with adequate minerals and vitamins that the bird will require to start its formation to develop meat. Then it moves to the starter, and then at that stage, the starter is supposed for the bird to grow bigger and expand, and it is also a very highly nutritious feed that's prepared for the birds. And then it moves to the finisher, and then the finisher is one that will finish the bird. It has more calcium, higher energy, and higher protein, so that the bird should be able to attain that desired weight between 1.5 to 2 kg at 35 to 40 days. Some farmers will prefer mash, some farmers will prefer the crumbs or pellets, but we have both. And then we move also to the other lines of product that we have. We also have concentrate. Concentrates, some of these big and large farms will prefer to use concentrate. And we have concentrate in 30% and 40%. The 30% is for the layer rations. And then the 40% is both for layer and for broilers. The layer ration for 30% is usually recommended. A farmer will buy this feed. He will use wheat bran and maize. Those are the two items that you will only add. But in the concentrate, all the other additives are all included in the company, like the protein, the feed additives, vitamin and minerals are all in the feed and in the concentrate. The farmer will only add wheat bran and maize. Then the 40%, which is there's 40% for layer, 40% for grower, 40% for chick, and 40% for the broiler feed, the same category. That is Superstarter, starter, and finisher. And all these, the farmer will just buy the 40%, they will only add maize, and then you have a ready feed for your birds. You add 40% of it maize. That is 400 kilograms of maize. And then we also have other range of products that we offer. For instance, we have the breeder feed for those who are producing breeder eggs for hatching. So we have that category. We also have, we also produce professional feed for those who have closed housing systems. There are farmers who have closed housing systems that wants to grow birds, broilers, to give them maybe to achieve 1.5 to 2 kg weight within 32 to 35 days. So we can do customized feed for them, which we call the professional line. We also have capability to produce cattle feed, horse ration, turkey feed, ostrich feed, and pig feed. All these we can produce we have the capability to produce any animal feed at Premier Feeds. The other category that we do is the Aqua line. We also produce aqua feeds, and we have them today, currently we have 3 categories, which is the catfish, tilapia, and omega. The catfish is designed, our catfish feed is designed to grow fish up to table size within 6 months. And you will be able to get between 1 kg to 1.5 kg. And the packaging is from 2 kg, 2 mm size, 3 mm size, 4.5 mm size, 6 mm, and 9 mm sizes. In the tilapia category, The tilapia feed is also designed it is an extruded feed that, and sorry, let me take that again. The tilapia is extruded and is floating feed, and it is produced in 3 packaging: the 2 mm size, 2 mm size, 3 mm, and 4.5 sizes. While the Omega was designed purposely for us to address farmers who have been producing on-farm feed and they're not doing it rightly. And we came up with this feed to be able to solve the problem of these farmers. And it is a finishing feed for the fishes, and it is for catfish for 6 mm and 9 mm sizes only. So these are our product ranges that we have at Premier Feeds. And I want to say that Premier Feed has been able to spread all over the country. Today we have feed mills in Ibadan, we have in Calabar, we have in Kaduna, we have in Jos, and we have in Kano. So we've been able to cover substantial space in the country, and we are also expanding. We'll be able, in the next few years, Premier Feed will be able to cover the entire country with sufficient product availability and maintaining high quality products. Thank you.
Please go ahead, doctor. The floor is yours.
Good evening, everybody. I'm here to present some, let me say, the kind of discussion on the nutrition of poultry and the best practices. Why is it that when you have your best feed and you are not getting best results, what are those things responsible? Well, in the first instance, let us know what is poultry. Poultry are domesticated birds. Either your layer, your chicken, your turkey, your duck, ostrich, and so on and so forth. But today we are going to discuss on poultry. I mean, on both pullets and the broiler. When we say nutrition, nutrition is the digestion, absorption, and utilization by the body of an organism, that is, of the feed that you offer to them, for the purpose of growth, egg production, as well as cell replacement. We can also say nutrition is an act of nourishing, or the body being nourished. It takes less than, let me say, 3 hours before the feed that you offer to your bird, from the beak down to the cloaca, to be able to digest. So in this case, it means within that short period of time, you have to create feed that is available in nutrients for better performance of your birds. Poultry generally, let me say, the pullets and our broilers, they require an average of 14 amino acids, 12 minerals, 13 vitamins, as well as 1 fatty acid. So this makes it more expensive for us to get all these nutrients available. And what we are saying is that for a better performance, the nutrients must be available to your animal for better performance. And when you say nutrients are broken into 6 basic nutrients. For example, we have carbohydrates, we have fat. The carbohydrate is a source of energy as well as the fat. Then the protein and amino acid is the building block for the muscle, vitamins for biochemical reactions, minerals. Then water is also very, very important. Now let's have a look at the nutrition science itself. It's the study of a physiological process of nutrition, where we interpret the nutrient and other substance in the feed in relation to maintenance of the animal, the growth, reproduction, and the health of your organism. Now, all these nutrients, they came from bulk of ingredients. But before we move further, when you look at nutrition, is very, very crucial in the production process of poultry, because it takes an average of 65 to 80, 70% of your cost of production. So it means any slight in the nutritional makeup will automatically affect your profit. Now, what are those ingredients that are essential in the formulation of diet? We have the corn as a source of energy. That's the popular soya. That is for the protein. We have fish meal, we have bone meal, salt, as well as we have some non-nutritive additive like anti-nutrition factor, like antitoxin, and so on and so forth. Providing the right feed plays a very vital role for optimal growth and performance of your animal before you can get a better performance. Then we now look at each categories of the feed style and what exactly is required. For example, we have the pullets, we have the chicks before the growing phase. That is the chicks before the growing phase. That is where we make sure you prepare your bed for egg laying. And in this case, the approximate energy required is average of 2,900 kilocalorie. Then we have 20% crude protein. Now, don't look at the figure, because many people will look at the figure and formulate their diet. What percentage of this 2,009 or your 3,000 kilocalorie that is available? That is the most important. What percentage of this 20% crude protein is bioavailable? That is very, very important. So in chick mash, we make sure that, because these birds at these earlier days, they need higher quantities of nutrients, because the quantity of feed that they will consume at this level is not as much as the other bird. So it means you must provide nutrients that will be available for the upbringing of these birds. And when you start with your with your chick mash, you expect at the end of 8 weeks to have an average of 200 grams. And at the end of 6 weeks, you expect to have an average of 485 grams. That is the weight of your bird. So now look at this starting point. That is when the organ of your chicks start growing. And if you don't offer a better complete diet, you will discover that the final day, that is the growing phase, will be disturbed. Moving to the growing phase, the energy requirement is an average of 2,650 kilocalorie. And there we have an average of 16% crude protein. This is the second phase feeding, where your birds need to develop the digestive tract. If they don't develop if you don't give them the quality feed that will give them the nutritional requirement at this point, the digestive tract that's supposed to be developed for the purpose of egg laying, the capacity of that digestive system, if it is not well developed, by giving them trash, at the end of the day, is going to affect the performance. And let me tell you, if you mistakenly, or let me say, by 12 weeks, if your bird has not achieved 1 kg, then you have problem, because that is the peak at which the body buildup will stop. At the end of that 12 weeks, the rate at which the body is being built up for production or for further growth will be retarding. So in that case, you need to give a grower that is more nourishing, like in the case of our own feed, that is more available for future broiler, future layer performance. So after the growing phase, then you move them to pre-lay. Pre-lay phase is just a level, that is, it's an interface between the grower and the laying phase. That is to give them a smooth transmission from the grower phase to the laying phase. At this level, they require an average of 2,650 kilocalories and average of crude protein 15% crude protein. Between this period, you need an average of 1.5 kg per bed before they start laying. That is when they reach 19 weeks. And by 19 weeks, they must have attained 1.5 kg. If not, you have altered the performance in future. Because if they have not reached this, it's going to affect both the production, it's going to affect the egg size. Then now the laying phase. The laying phase is between 18 to 40. 40, that is the stage 1. 18 to 40 weeks old. That is when you start your bed with an average of 85 to 95 grams. As your bed now starts laying, you have to feed them in response to the quantity of egg being produced. This is where many of our farmers do miss it. They will continue feeding this 95 grams. And at the end of the day, this is the point where beds need more calcium, need more extra phosphorus. But if you just station them with 95 grams, they are getting to 20, they are getting to 22, they are getting to 24. It means they will now be mobilizing their body reserve. That is when you have more paralysis. And at this point, if you don't feed in response to the demand, that is the production, which is the egg production, there will be problem. So feed intake also may be affected by the environment, the breed, housing, and management. That's the reason we also advise farmers, when you are getting breed or when you are getting bed, you need to inquire which breed is this one. Is it Lohman? Is it Issa Brown? The way Lohman will consume is lesser than the way your Issa will consume. And they also have nutritional requirements that you need to look into. So at this layer phase 2, that is the stage 1, you expect to feed them according to production. By the time they get to 40 weeks old, you now discover that the ability of your bed to mobilize more phosphorus, calcium will be reduced. So your nutrient must be more available. At this moment, there must be more, an average of 2% upward calcium, additional calcium, which means your bed need extra calcium. Then on this point, through our field experience, we discovered that most farmers now, what they do is that they feed more than this 112, more than 113. Some feed 120, from feed 135, some feed 125. If you are on top feed and you are feeding more than this, you are wasting money and it's going to back on your profit. Then when you overfeed them, there is tendency for them to lay more fat. So this is the essence of the design of layer phase 2. Then the next stage, that is the broiler. Now we design the broiler line is being designed. It can be in 2 phases, while it can be in 3 phases. But in our own feed, we have 2 phases feeding. That is where you have a superstarter, you have a starter, then you have a finisher. So at the starting phase, that is when you make sure that your birds, they get the required nutrient. An average of 2,950. Some may use 3,000, but what is the percentage of nutrient bioavailability in that your 3,000? Next slide. So this is the broiler superstarter line that where we have the 2009 kilocalorie, then you have a 24% crude protein. This is designed for the day-old chicks. And don't let me forget, when you are starting your brooding, many farmers, they don't weigh. You must know the initial weight. Then at the end, like in the case of a broiler now, at the end of 7 days, that your initial weight must be multiplied by 4 or 5. But it means many of our farmers supposed to have gotten 40 gram, 42 gram AOC. But at the end of the day, we discovered that some of them are getting at 7. And if you are targeting the same day with that of somebody that gets 42, it means you have issue with them. After the broiler superstarter, you have the broiler starter. This, they expect to be fed or consume an average of 1.3 to 1.5 kg. Then the broiler finisher, that's where you have 2009 kilocalorie and 17% crude protein. So in that case, they will feed average of 1.5 kg. They will have consumed 1.5 kg. Then you start from there. They add more than an average of 2 point something kg. So now let us look at why is it that this is our feed? Why are farmers not getting it right? Now let's move into the management tip for better poultry production. Biosecurity. You have to make sure that the entrance of a pathogen is being blocked outside your gate. You don't allow any pathogen from any other farm into your farm, because when your birds are diseased, the nutrients that are being consumed we use to maintain the body, and if the immunity is down, then there will be problem. There won't be any result. Then number 2, downtime between flock. Many farmers, when they sold off their flock, immediately they stop. That is wrong. In that case, you are going to have problem in disease transmission. You have to disinfect, let the farm rest for average of 14 days. Then the replacement preparation. Now, many farmers, they don't prepare well until when the birds are outside. And that usually results to weight loss, and we have weak or early mortality. Then the brooding management, which is very, very important to the layer farmers and broiler farmers. Do you check your birds from your DOC, from hatchery? Do you check when you place them? What do you check the crop? After 2 hours, after 4 hours, after 24 hours. After 24 hours, your crop feed is supposed to be average of 85%, which means if you take 10 birds, 10 tail chicks, and you test their crop, at least 85% of them must have feed in their crop. If not, it means maybe your feeders are not enough. Also, when you are checking the crop, is it solid or soft? If it is hard, it means there is problem with water. Water are not so available to your bed. That means you have to increase the drinker. Then the temperature too. You need to check the temperature of your bed. Some farmer will hang their own thermometer up. That's not the level of their bed. You have to place your thermometer and humidity check very close to the level of your chicks. Now, let me say the development of birds starts between 0 to 5 weeks. That is the organ development. If the nutrients are not so available for that organ development, there will be problem at the end of the day. Then the skeletal development also reach peak at an average of 7 weeks. So if your bed has not developed the body skeletal formation at that level, at that day, it means you are bound to have problem, most especially the ability of your layer to lay efficiently will be disrupted. Now, the coccidiosis prevention is another problem where you have to, which always affects the nutrition of birds. Now, the coccidia organism always target the digestive tract, which means they will create wound there. If there is wound there, it means there won't be an avenue for the nutrient to be absorbed. So in that case, you have retarded growth. Also, your litter management, if it is not adequate, it means you are harboring or you are breeding microbes that will later affect your birds. As the next one is the water management, which is very, very crucial in poultry feeding. Now, when we say water management, many farmers don't take water very important, but they don't know that when you are giving 1 kg of feed to your bird will require an average of 2 kg. So it means if water is not available, the production will be affected. Now, let's look at factors to consider when you are thinking about water management. One, the quality. What is the quality of your water? We have seen cases where farmers dug their borehole somewhere very close to the waste place, or where the erosion will pass, we just draw the waste into, and that will sink into the borehole, affecting the quality. Then, what is the height? The height of your nipple. Is it not stressful for your bird to get access to your nipple? If they have problem in getting that, they will drink less, and at the end of the day, they will eat less. When they eat less, it means they are going to get lesser production. Also, you check the pressure of your water, the water line. We need to make sure that the pressure is constant. Then too, many farmers too, they flush their water line anytime they have problem, which is not supposed to be, because in between the pipe, there is biofilm that usually the biofilm usually block the pipe. So in this case, you need to flush. Then you maintain the drinker and the equipment also. Next slide. Then the feeding management, I've said I've talked about that. The feeding management, you need to know the quantity required at every phases. For example, at latest, the cumulative feed required at 5 weeks old in pullet is an average of 300 and 380, average of 900 grams. Moving to 6 weeks, you have an average of 1,000, or let me say 1 kg, 1.1 kg. And in the case of 12 weeks, you need an average of the accumulated feed is supposed to have been up to 3.5. Now, when you are calculating your accumulated feed, you must know that the wastage on the floor is not part of it. Because if you calculate the wastage on the floor with it, you are not going to get, it means you are feeding less. And your feed conversion ratio will be higher, which means you are feeding more to get less. So you have to understand the components of the general environment management, like the temperature, the relative humidity, the ventilation and lighting. If the temperature, for example, now we are in dry season now, many farmers are having problem and they refer to nutrition. No. At this period, you have to create environment, the temperature that is conducive. You have to bear in mind that these birds are from temperate region where the minimum, that is the peak, there is for them to perform is average of 21, even the worst is 27 for this bird to perform. But go to your farm now, take the temperature. You will discover that you are having 35, 32 degrees centigrade. In this case, your bird will drink less, and at the same time, they will eat less, resulting to low performance. Then the lighting too. Many farmers, they complain that birds are not eating this food. We visited a farm where there was a complaint like that. We discovered that the lighting system in that farm is faulty. If your birds, they don't have access to the nutrition, that is the feed, there's no magic that will put it into their mouth. You have to create a lighting program that is okay for them. And let me also remind you that good body weight at 4 to 5 weeks in pullets plus good uniformity at 16 weeks will give you a better performance. And any mistake you make between that 0 to 16 weeks of pullet life is a disaster. So we need, when you offer a better feed, you have to give them accordingly. You have to monitor your pen. Most manager or your farm attendant, after feeding, they will leave the pen. That is not good enough. And that's the reason why at times when you are having wastage of feed, you will they may not know. So you have to keep an eye on the equipment. Is the water running well? Is the nipple okay? Then you have to check your mortality, because that's an indication that will indicate to you that there is problem in the farm. Then about the flock health management, many farmers, they do it themselves, and that is wrong. You have to work with your veterinarian to design a program, a customized program for you in that farm. That is when you can get best out of any feed. That is, for example, in our own case now, if you get our own feed, you can only get best from this feed if you have a very good management. Then communication and teamwork. You need to communicate well with your staff, and within the staff too, they need to communicate well and work together to achieve a better result. Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much. That was quite, packed full with a lot of information, and the chat section is really blazing with a lot of questions. I know that Mr. Austin Daliop has been, doing justice to some of the questions in the Q&A section. Thank you. He's been very busy while you were, giving us the training on the animal, on the poultry nutrition. So we have quite a number of questions, and I'll just mention there's some that have been answered, but those I'll try and see if I could get those that have not been answered yet. So the first question that I have here is from one of the participants that actually sent this via email when registering. And I'll put this question to you, doctor, please. What is the nutritional value and medicinal effect of onions, bitter leaves, and garlic inclusion in poultry feeds?
Yeah, I heard you. You know,
Should I? Okay.
this kind of products, we refer to them as phytobiotics. Some of them are growth promoter, some of them are growth promoter. You know, instead of using your antibiotic that is banned all over the world now, though there are some that still use it. But in our own case, we don't use. But all these apps, they are phytobiotics that they can stimulate the immune system. They are like some of them also they are like flavor that will make the feed more palatable and the birds will eat more. So I can quickly say they are phytobiotics. They they improve the performance of birds.
Okay.
By improving the immune system. That is the simple explanation for that. Okay.
Thank you for that answer, doctor. I'll merge, so that we can keep to time, I'll merge like two questions for you now. Someone mentioned that, someone asked this question. During hot weather, birds tend to feed less. In feed formulation, should the energy level in feed be reduced or increased in seasons like this? And then question two, there was no emphasis made about the control of coccidiosis.
The advancement in nutrition, we include fat and oil as a source of energy. So because of the heat increment, when you use just carbohydrate source, when you use carbohydrate source that are not lemons, that are without adding supplementing with fat and oil, there is bound to have more heat increment. At the end of the day, the heat will stress the bird. So in that case, you reduce the energy level, the carbohydrate level, and you add more, you supplement with fat and oil. Then I also mentioned something about coccidiosis. The coccidiosis, the medium at which, whereby the coccidia organism grow. You know, many of our farmers, what they do is not so ideal. Before you stock, you're supposed to have done the microbial audit. But some of our farmers, they just put disinfectant, and disinfectant is just like a perfume. When you spray your disinfectant at times, it's just like perfume to some pathogen, like coccidia organism. So in that case, you need to make sure that you do microbial audit, then you control the water, the moisture content of your litter. If you don't control the moisture content of your litter, then you are encouraging the growth of coccidia organism. Then to prevent, there are vaccines. We have a coccidiosis vaccine that you can use to prevent, to build their immunity against coccidiosis. Thank you.
Thank you so much, doctor. Yeah, we have this question also. What is the recommended best practice for brooding of chicks with the least mortality rates? And then a second question that I would add to this, What about those that are into organic poultry production?
Yeah. The best brooding practice is just, brooding management is a whole topic on its own. I just touched most of them briefly. Brooding management practice start from preparation for your day-old chicks. What is the quality of your day-old chicks? Did you check did you check the beak of your bed? Did you check the height? Do you check the vent? Do you check the leg? Then did you weigh them? Because if you have weak birds, you stock weak birds, there's no best practice you can give. Then another thing is that most of our farmers, once they stop their day-old chicks, they give glucose. Glucose is an instant energy, which means when your birds drink glucose, they will be jumping all over the pen, wasting at the end of the day, when they burn that energy, there won't be ability for them to grow. But what we usually advise farmers is that to get good brooding, one, you make sure you get quality chicks. Two, you have to check you weigh them. Three, the ventilation of the pen, then the temperature. Now that feed is all over expensive now, do you know that when your bed needs energy, the maintenance energy? So if the temperature at the brooding pen is less than what the beds can sustain on, it means they will need an extra average of 20% more feed. So in that case, you are wasting money. So to have a very good brooding design, you must get a good chicks, day-old chicks, good vaccination program, then the ventilation, you maintain your litter, you maintain the biosecurity procedure. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for that. I know that talking about especially diseases, is a different topic on its own, because there are several diseases and several measures that need to be put in place, because I have quite a number of questions. So obviously, maybe, at some point, there will be another session basically for, specifically for diseases. So I'm going to ask the last two questions. We have more questions, but what we will do is, after this session, we will collate the remaining questions, share them with you, and this would form some information that we would put online on our social media platforms. So for everyone that is here, if you want to be privy to all of these answers, to get insights and key information on everything that is being talked about, especially questions that have not been answered, kindly follow us on all our social media handles at the FMN Agro. We'll put it on the chat section as well, so that you can follow the link and follow us on all social media platforms. So I have two questions I will put to you now, and then we'll call it a wrap. Someone said, if there's a situation, right, when my birds are not uniform at 14 weeks to 16 weeks, what should I do in terms of, how do I feed them if they're not uniform? So that's that question. And then I'll add another question to this. Yeah. Can a farmer use starter feed from day old up to 6 to 8 weeks for broilers production? If yes, what's your recommendation for that?
Okay. The first question is, let me start from the second question. Starting with broiler superstarter or starter. We have starter, then we have superstarter. So the broiler superstarter is to boost their growth, because at the initial days of their life, they need immunostimulant, that is feed that will boost their immunity. Then the starter is to maintain and bring them up. But most farmers, because it is not going to be economical for you to start with Superstarter and end with your Superstarter. It's just a way of economy to get what you need. You start with Superstarter, starter, within 35 days, you get 1.8, 35 days, 42 days, you get 1.6, 2 kg, depending on the management, your farm management. That is when you don't waste feed. Most farmers, they use a tray feeder. The tray feeder lasts for 4 weeks on their farm. In that case, you will not get that target because most of the feed will be wasted using flat feeder. After one week, you change to conical feeder. But most farmers, they are still getting it wrong. And before you can get a better feed conversion ratio, it means those feed must be consumed, not half consumed, half on the floor, because you are going to use that consumed feed to get your feed conversion ratio. If not, the result will not be accurate.
Okay, thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you so much for that. It's been very, very insightful. Now I know that when I'm ready to start my poultry business, I can just call on you to, put me in the right direction. That was really engaging, and there's a lot of questions. We can't take everything, but we would collate all the other questions and share them with you and find ways to ensure that our participants get the answers to that. So once again, thank you everyone for joining. I hope this was very insightful. Look forward to more, FMN Agro live sessions in the coming months, and we'll ensure that we keep adding value to all of our stakeholders. We believe that this session, you've now been more familiar with the range of the top feeds products, the poultry feeds available. This has been focused on poultry. I believe we'll do something else on Aqua, and also on how to access the products. And we're also now equipped with practical knowledge and best practices, which definitely should ultimately improve the health and growth of your birds. We appreciate you being here. We said it will be 1 hour. It's 5:02, so I'll call it a wrap. You can always feel free to reach out. You can send us emails. We'll put the email address where you can send any questions or comments that you have in the chat section so that you can access that. And then you can also visit our website for the FMN Agro website. Through that, you can link other microsites, which includes the microsites for Premier Feed Mills Limited. We'll put all of that in the chat section now, and then we'll call it a day. Thank you so much. Do have a beautiful weekend. Bye, everyone. Thank you, Mr. Austin. Thank you, Dr. Wale. You guys were amazing. You're amazing. Thank you.
Thank you, Bomi. Bye-bye.
All right. We would leave you with this video from the Top Feeds brand. It's a product. It's a new product that has been launched. It's for Aqua. It's called the Top Feeds Omega. So we'll just wrap up with this video. Here's me signing off. Bye for now.
The nutritional requirement of African catfish towards harvest needs to be optimized. Hence, from 500 grams, most farmers go into self-milling of sinking feeds or purchase poultry byproduct to reduce their cost of feed. This process is laden with several inherent challenges, such as scarcity of raw materials, feed wastage, uncooked or poorly prepared feed affecting digestibility, reduction in available energy, lower immunity and growth performance, water pollution as the feed dissolved immediately it contacts water, resulting in average 40% loss of feed and eventual loss of funds. Top Feed's Omega, an extruded feed, has been developed as a solution to solve these challenges with the following benefit. Top Feed's Omega is produced from high-quality tested raw materials under strict hygienic extrusion technology to ensure a safe feed, free from all forms of contamination and with good biodigestibility, enabling farmers save more. Top Feed's Omega is very cost-effective as it eliminates wastage, reduces water pollution, and enhances better growth rate for African catfish. The feed comes with great value at a very competitive price. No stress attached with usage, just open the bag and use. Top Feed's Omega comes in sizes 6 mm and 9 mm.
Well done, eh?
It is available in all